Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a new series for our channel. We're going to be playing FTB's Oceanblock. This is a pack I played a little bit before, not very much, but I started out with the globe, and I played it on stream. And it was interesting, but because we were starting underwater, we missed a large amount of the mechanics that were intended by the FTB team. So I am going to play through on the default island this time, so I can see how it was originally made. We're going to call this Ender's Oceanblock LP, play on hard, and I'm just going to put in Ender LP for the seed, in case anybody wants the same seed, though I don't think it has too much of a effect on the world, because Oceanblock is a world where we are set on an island in the middle of an ocean. It's a variant of skyblock, where we have to generate resources from nothing. The ocean has effects where if you swim in it too long, you get mining fatigue and slowness, and you can't go very deep without diving gear. But there are structures underwater and on the surface, and there are rafts where we can collect resources from also that make it kind of unique. So we will be getting into that. Today my goal is to get started in our quest book and get the getting started chapter finished. If we take a look at our quest book, so far that's the only chapter that's open. As we progress through this, it'll open up the rest. But just like any other Minecraft world, we got to start by getting us some wood. So we need to collect 4 logs. And unlike a normal playthrough where I would collect a little bit of wood and then make some vanilla tools to cut down some more, I'm going to just harvest the wood by hand, because this pack is set up so that if you try to use any vanilla tools, let's look at a wooden pickaxe, they are for crafting only, so when you try to use them they will immediately break. So that's nice. The first thing we got from our random reward is a small crate. Crates are very nice addition to this pack. It gives us some nice early game storage with some options to advance it later on. The next thing we need to do, since we don't have vanilla tools, is to start getting into tinkers. And so what we're going to do is make our patterns, and then that'll let us make our part builder, and then we can make our crafting station, and then the last item that we need as far as stations go is our tinker station itself, which is like this. Actually going to set these up down on a lower level because I'm going to do some modifying of this island. So let's put them right here. The tinker station, part builder, crafting station. So then if we look at the quest book, the next thing it wants us to do is to make any basic tinker's tool. And so the first thing I'm going to make is a mattock, so I can use that to help cut down this tree, but I need a little bit more wood to make it happen. Actually, I'm going to need a little more than that because I need to make more patterns. I don't know why they don't tell you to cut down more pieces of wood. You're going to need it. Now, there is vein miner in this pack, but if we try to use it right now, you can see it says that it's inactive because of the Lost Trinkets quest. So we'll be getting into that very shortly, and I'll show you how the trinkets work. Let's take the log, make some planks. We're going to need a few more patterns. Okay, so then we put the patterns in here, we put the wood in here. The tool that we're going to make is a mattock, so that has a wooden pickaxe head, a wooden axe head, and a tool handle. There we go, very first tool. And that'll complete the next quest. So we'll take the extra patterns and we'll take the part chest. In this version of Tinkers, you don't have patterns that you store. You just use up patterns as you make each part, and then any excess parts that you get, you store in a part chest. So it's nice to have it. I don't typically make one because I don't use them, but since we got one, I will keep it with our Tinker Station. Okay, so let's take a look, see what the next quest is. I'm going to grab a couple more pieces of wood. I know I'm going to need them. So the next thing it would like us to do is to make a hammer. Before we make the hammer, I'm going to make a tinker's pickaxe because I'm going to want to grab some cobblestone to make a stone hammer. I don't really see the point in making a wooden hammer that will not last very long. Let's put these books up here for now. Okay, so we can grab a little bit of cobblestone here. Island's not huge, but it does have enough resources for us to grab what we need to start. And before long, we'll be making our own resources. So, for a hammer, all you need is a few sticks. And the 2 cobblestone like that. There we go. So that quest is finished. So we'll take our 16 gravel, which actually helps us on the next quest, which is basic resources. So we need to get 8 cobblestone, 8 dirt, 8 sand, and 8 dust. So the dirt, we can just grab right off the top. Okay. That is that. And then we need... Oh, why did I only get 7? I thought I mined 8. I missed one. Okay. Oh, I did. Okay, it was just somewhere. Okay. So now we just need to grab 8 cobblestone. We already have our gravel because of the gravel we got from the quest. One more piece of sand will do. And then the last thing we need is dust, so we will just break some sand with a hammer. And that should complete it for us. So that'll give us our compressed cobblestone and an ultiminer cap. Compressed cobblestone is actually gives us a decent amount of cobblestone to start. The way these trinkets work is when you get one, you hold it in your hand and you right click and it adds it to your trinkets. And then when you bring up the trinket menu, you can select a trinket to activate it. And you can unlock more slots to unlock trinkets as you go. So for now, once we've enabled the ultiminer cap, that means that we will be able to come up here and vein mine the rest of this tree. There we go. Beautiful. So you can find more trinkets to do different things throughout the world and through other quest lines, and as you get more XP you can unlock more slots to use them. Other thing that's nice about having vein mine now is we can get rid of all this grass to grab seeds. The next quest we want to work on is getting string, and we want to get started on that right away because we're going to get string by growing cotton, and it's going to take a good long time to grow. I'm just going to go through and collect up all of these grass all over the island so that we can get as many seeds as we can. be enough to get started. To make a little crop area, we're going to need to make another tool, which is the comma. The comma is a small blade. I need some more wood. And then it is a tool handle and binding. So then if we go to our, oh, wrong station. Go to here, we make a comma, throw that in. Comma works as both a reaping tool, like a shearing tool, and as a hoe. So we can use it for both things. So we're going to make a little area down here where we can plant some crops. I'm just going to get it started and then we'll expand it as we go. For now, just put it like this. How many cotton seeds do we have so far? 9. So we'll expand it as we get more. But for now, let's get all 9 of these cotton seeds planted. We're not going to need a huge amount of cotton, but the faster they grow, the better. We need it for the mesh for our sluice, and we also need it to get wool so that we can sleep, because it's starting to get nighttime, and we want to make sure we have a bed before 3 nights pass, because I don't want to deal with phantoms. I'm going to spend the first night here on the island grinding out some trees. That way we can get some torches so we're not recorded in the dark. Another beautiful day has dawned here in Oceanblock, and we have spent the night getting ourselves some wood and made some furnaces and made some charcoal so that we could light the place up. I got a few more cotton seeds when I was clearing out some grass, so I'm going to plant those quick. Okay. So yeah, we just made a few furnaces here, cooked up a couple stacks of logs. I have a couple, stack and a half more to go in here, which is great. We'll put all our wood away. Oh, actually, we have a couple stacks. Perfect. So let's check out our quest book, see where we're headed next. Next thing it wants us to make is the dripper. Drippers are pretty easy. They are an addition specifically for Oceanblock. They require slabs, and since we make 6 slabs, I'm going to make 6 drippers. But so we take slabs, put them over buttons, and then we surround that with sticks, and then we get our dripper. The dripper allows us to make different blocks by dripping liquids onto other blocks. So if we take water and drip it over compressed stone, it has a chance to turn into iron ore. It is a slow process, but it does eventually convert it. So it's a method we can use to gain some blocks in the future. It is not the method we're going to start with today. So let's put those away. I'm going to put the books as well as the crate that we got in there, so we can take our reward here. An inferium furnace, that's pretty solid. Let's put that down. I'm gonna grab another stack of charcoal because I want to try this out. They're in the top chest. I just made a few chests here. We'll work on expanding out this island a little bit more soon, but for now it's a little cramped. I guess inferium furnace isn't super fast, but it's supposed to be faster than the other ones. That's fine. Okay. Next in our quest book, we are moving on to clay and water. So we need to get 16 clay balls. We do have some clay exposed down here. Next to the sand. In fact, I'm just going to take this entire strip off, because eventually I want to lower this area of the island. Oh, and my mattock broke. I did make our mattock cobblestone or stone one, because it was just, the wooden one was just breaking away too often. We don't have any renewable cobblestone yet, other than what we can mine on the island, but we will have it very soon, so I'm not worried about it. Trying to keep this pretty tidy so we don't have any sharp edges, but this area will get mined down a little later. Anyway, it's no big deal. One more cotton seed out of that. Okay, so we got our clay. Now we need to make a clay bucket. So we do 1, 2, 3. And we can use that just as it is to get water, which is great. Take our reward here. An iron jetpack. That'd be really awesome if we had a way to charge it. Okay, let's check out our next quest. After that, we just need to get the string so that we can make the sluice and we can proceed with that. What is this quest? Lost trinkets. Oh, so if we get any other trinkets, we can finish this quest and get a reward. We'll get more as we proceed. So for now, I think I'm just going to continue working on terraforming the island a little bit while we wait for our cotton to grow. I spent our next night in Oceanblock terraforming a little bit, just flattening some area outside some places to work. It's still not quite done, but our cotton has grown, which means we can proceed with the quest book. So, 2 pieces of cotton makes 4 pieces of string, finishes our quest, which gives us, oh no, we actually need to make a tinkered weapon. Okay, so to make a tinker's weapon, I'm going to make an axe. We need a axe head, a tool binding, and then I'm going to make the handle out of wood. And then all we do is combine those 3. We get our axe. Okay, so when we finish that quest, we get 16 more string and 16 bone meal. We can use the string now to make ourselves a bed. Let's grab some wood from here so we don't have to leave, which is great. Now we have a bed where we can set our spawn and we can sleep at when nighttime comes around, which is great because we had about 1 more night before phantoms spawned. Now we'll be able to sleep and not worry about that. So our next quest is working on our sluice. To build the sluice, we just need some wood. So the first sluice is an oak one. So we're going to build just the sluice like this. And then we can use the string we got to make our first mesh for it, which is a cotton mesh. So it's just 5 strings surrounded by sticks. So this is a pretty interesting mechanic. I'm actually going to make a couple of chests while I'm in here. And we're going to set up our sluice over here by the water. I'm actually going to do a little bit down section over here because I want it to be right next to the water just to make it easier on me. Okay, So we're going to put the sluice right here. Then we're going to put a chest at the end of it. The oak sluice doesn't allow you to have items automatically go into a chest, but when we upgrade it, it will. So I wanted to have it laid out the way that we want. So all you do is you put the mesh in the sluice, and then you take your bucket and you put water in the sluice. You can put up to 12 buckets in here at a time. And then you take gravel, sand, or dust, and you just put it in the sluice, and it will work its way through the mesh, and it will provide you with resources, or it has a chance to. So as far as the sluices go, there we go, we got our first piece of copper. As far as the sluices go, as far as automation goes, with the oak sluice, we cannot automate items or fluids. Once we get up to iron, we can automate the items. And once we get to diamond, we can automate both items and fluids. So finishing that quest gave us some cobblestone, some gravel, some sand, and another random reward. Let's see what we get. A copper vein hammer. That's interesting. We'll keep that. So, next thing we want to work on after that is getting ourselves a manual pump. So to get to the manual pump, we need to make 3 clay buckets and 3 stone. So let's grab some of our charcoal we made. We're going to take 3 pieces of stone. Cook that up. And while we're doing that, which box did I put the clay in? There it is. We're going to make a couple more clay buckets. Okay, so let's pull up our pump. And we will make that. It does consume the clay buckets. If we had used iron buckets, we would have gotten the buckets back, but we don't have the iron yet, so that's fine. And we put this right here. We're going to want water under it. I believe. So what the manual pump does is it makes it so that you can pump water into the sluice. So you just start the timer up, and it slowly pumps water over into our sluice, which means that for now, since we can't automate the items going in, we can just put items in, and it'll run out of water. Now this, you can charge up by holding right-click on it for, I think it's 5 minutes before you start to have problems. You can see the gauge on the back. So we're gonna just get it charged up to go for a little while here. Our goal is to get to an iron sluice so that we can build a hopper, and then we can feed items into the sluice and just let it go for 5 minutes after we charge up the water. That way we can process large amounts of ores. So I will do that once I get this all set up again. In order to make the iron sluice, we need two iron ingots, and then a 3rd iron ingot for the chain, and a 4th to make the nuggets. So that's 4 for that, and 5 for a hopper. So this pack allows a couple of different ways for us to get into the early iron ingots. If we take iron chunks, which is what we get from the sluice, we can just directly smelt them into nuggets. It's not very efficient. We can also craft them into clusters. To process the clusters, we have a couple options. We can get an engineer's hammer, and that'll give us iron dust, or we can do them in a tempered jar, which will give us an ingot. And we also have the option for using tinker melting or smelting. But for that, we need to get to lava. If we did it in a melter, we would get 1 ingot plus 3 nuggets. So it would be a little more. I think maybe we should look into seeing if we can get to that stage right now. So I'm going to collect all the things I need in order to get a melter together and get that set up. And then we'll collect some iron chunks and get some iron processing. I made enough grout to make all the pieces we need for our first melter. It's not as good as a smelter. It won't give us doubling on our ore, but it will give us a little bit more. It gives us 1 1/3 ingots for each one we get. So for now, I'm just going to put down our casting basin on this side, and we'll put our table on this side. So we can take our iron clusters, well, our iron chunks we make into clusters. We've gotten 5 so far. We can put them in here, and then we put coal in here, and that will melt them down. So for each one of these clusters, we get 1 ingot and 3 nuggets. So when all 3 of them are done, we'll have 4 ingots. Put a couple more in. In order to automate our sluice with a hopper so that we can just put items in and not have to feed them in manually, we need a total of 9 ingots. So we're getting close there. We actually would need 8 ingots and 2 nuggets. And since we have this, we could probably wonder if it'd be worth feeding some sand in just to get a couple gold to make some casts. Because gold chunks we can get them from sluicing through cotton with a 6% chance, and we still get iron. It's at a less chance than when we were doing the gravel, but I think I'm going to feed a stack of sand through and see if we can get enough gold to make some casts. Though of course we already have the iron in there. We can't feed both things in. I should have thought of that beforehand. Either way, I'm going to let it go through. So the way that this pump works is if you try to wind it up past 5 minutes, it starts to damage you. But once you're at 5 minutes, it only uses the time and actually pumps fluid in when it needs it in the sluice, and so it lasts for quite a while. And then every once in a while, you just have to recharge it. So I'm just going to sit here and grind out a couple stacks of resources so that we can get all the iron we need to go forward. So I meant to record a clip when I was making the sluice and the hopper, but it didn't save. So I'm just going to show you how this is working. The iron sluice has some advantages over the oak sluice in the fact that we can feed items in with a hopper, and the items as they come out go directly into the chest at the end of it. So I have a hopper here feeding in gravel and sand through our sluice, and since we had charged the pump up to 5 minutes, it's continuing to go through all of that, and we can add time to it just by right-clicking on it. As long as we don't go over 5 minutes. If we go over 5 minutes, it'll start to hurt our player, but we can just keep adding time as we need. But we're getting all the resources here without having to do with very little interaction from us, which is great. So now we have our melter set up to get a little bit of extra ores, but their next step in our process is to use this setup that we have to get everything that we need in order to get to ore doubling. And we're going to do that in the next episode because we're already pushing 30 minutes today. But the goal is going to be to use the seared melter to create a smeltery, because when you take the iron clusters or any other clusters and you melt them, you only get one ingot and 3 nuggets. If you do it in a smeltery using lava, you get 2 ingots. So In order to do that, we need to get a full smeltery set up with a controller and all that. And we also need to work our way into the tempered jar mod. The tempered jar mod is another mod added specifically for Oceanblock. And when using the tempered jars, you can create, let's see, where is it? You can create lava from cobblestone. Now, to do that, we have to get into making cast iron and making some other things, and we'll do that in the next episode. But so our goal for episode 2 is going to be to have consistent ore doubling and hopefully working towards the next stage of automation so that we can start having resources coming in without any interaction from us at all. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. This series is going to be one that I run on my channel alongside my Oxygen Not Included series. My Call to the Lamb series is about to be over, and then after that, I'm expecting to do 2 to 3 episodes of each Oxygen Not Included and Oceanblock for the foreseeable future. So I hope you like it, and if you want to leave any feedback, it would be greatly appreciated. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.